I'm the founder of Bhuva's Impact Global, in short, BIG, where as a fractional COO, I strategically advise the executive board and the CEOs of businesses in three areas. Number one, risk governance, where I advise about proactively mitigating financial, operational, and global market risks. Number two, digital transformation, where I focus on responsible use of artificial intelligence without compromising scale and agility. And number three is ESG sustainability. I want to solve the climate crisis in our generation for women inclusive businesses. Scaling a climate tech startup involves expanding its operations, increasing its impact, and successfully entering new markets. This process is crucial for maximizing the startup's contribution to mitigating climate change and achieving financial sustainability. The climate tech sector is experiencing dynamic growth driven by global awareness of climate change, regulatory shifts, and technological advancements. Here are some key market trends and growth opportunities for climate tech startups. Many corporations are setting ambitious sustainability goals, including net zero emissions targets and 100% renewable energy commitments. Governments worldwide are implementing stricter regulations on emissions and providing incentives for clean technology adoption. The latest SEC rule, that's the Securities and Exchange Commission, introduced standardization of climate-related disclosures by public companies to address investor demands for consistent information on climate risks and their management while considering cost implications. The European Union is actively taking steps to combat greenwashing, which is a practice where companies make misleading claims about the environmental benefits of their products or services to appear more environmentally friendly than they actually are. EU uses SFDR, that's Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation, and CSRD, that's Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, like two examples. And more importantly, there's increasing public awareness and recognition to mitigate and adapt to climate change. According to the Global Risk Report from the World Economic Forum released this year, the number one most anticipated and worried risk is extreme weather and natural disasters. The key sectors within climate tech are incredibly diverse with a lot of potential for innovative growth. To name a few, we have renewable energy, generation and storage, electric vehicles and green transportation, smart cities and infrastructure, agricultural and food systems, carbon capture, utilization and storage, waste management and recycling technologies, water conservation and management, and lastly, climate resilience and adaptation technologies. In this talk, I'll be sharing actionable strategies to scale your startup efficiently while balancing profits and purpose. And as you scale, along with tips and tricks to overcome challenges. So climate change is a global issue and solutions often needed to be deployed are at a large scale to be effective. We'll also touch upon how startups need sufficient funding to expand beyond their initial markets and make a global impact, especially in regions that are more vulnerable to climate change. Within the climate, fintech, and artificial intelligence sectors, I have served and I continue to serve as a strategic mentor for more than 200 startups and still counting. I help female founders with sustainable innovation roadmaps in compliance with ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance regulations, both globally and in the US market. My unique corporate, nonprofit, and startup leadership experience brings a differentiated and inclusive approach to fundraising with an impact priority for the planet and people while balancing profits. If you're an entrepreneur or a founder, comment down below and let me know what kind of tech solution are you working on. Identifying target markets and customer segments involves understanding the specific needs, preferences, and challenges of different groups of customers who can benefit from your climate tech solutions. For example, if you're building an electric vehicle, the target market is the consumer market looking for reducing their reliance on fossil fuels and lowering their carbon emissions. There are two types of customer segments. One is B2C, the subset of urban consumers concerned about air pollution and seeking alternative transportation options, or early adopters who are interested in cutting edge technology and innovation. The other is B2B. These are the fleet operators looking to reduce operating costs while still meeting sustainability goals. While developing innovative products or services, you need to ensure that your business model is scalable in the R&D stage by allowing for modularity and standardization. So these enable for easy replication and deployment across different markets or applications. Leverage automation and technology to scale your operations efficiently and implement digital tools, software platforms, and data analytics to automate processes and optimize resource allocation and also to improve productivity. Again, invest in scalable infrastructure and resources such as cloud computing, manufacturing, supply chain, AI, and so on. Creating a sustainable revenue model is key. You need flexible pricing and revenue models that can accommodate growth and scale. For example, subscription-based models, usage-based pricing, or tiered pricing structures that allow customers to scale their usage according to their needs. As a quick primer on fundraising, raising money is a strategic step for climate tech startups that can significantly impact their trajectory, growth, and success. The different types of funding rounds are pre-seed funding, seed funding, Series A funding, Series B funding, and lastly, Series C funding and beyond. First, you need to identify the right type of investors and do a lot of research and networking in the region and the sector that you are focused. VC firms, impact investors, government grants, and corporate incentives, angel investors, and crowdfunding are all possible options. Crafting a compelling pitch for a climate tech startup involves clearly articulating the problem, your solution, the market opportunity, and your competitive advantage, especially within the context of the US market. Introduce your solution with unique aspects of the technology involved, how it works, why it's effective, what is the direct impact to people and planet, and what's your competitive edge. Business model is key to give confidence to investors on how you will generate revenue. What's your pricing strategy? What are your sales channels? How many letters of intent do you have from potential partners and future clients? These are all very important. Angel investors provide more than money. They become your board advisors and bring a wealth of industry experience, managerial advice, and valuable networks to the table. On the other hand, VCs are able to scale operations, accelerate market expansion, and invest in R&D more aggressively. But equity dilution is higher with VC funding. For more information on how to fundraise and optimize your fundraising rounds, check out my fundraising videos by visiting my channel. Next, scale your team by hiring strategically to fill key roles, particularly in sales, operations, and technical development. Focus on attracting talent that aligns with your mission and has experience in scaling startups. As you grow, developing a strong leadership team to delegate is crucial. This includes potentially bringing in experienced executives from relevant industries. Ensure you have a robust financial runway to support scaled operations. This might mean securing multi-year funding commitments or exploring revenue-based financing to grow without excessive dilution. Develop detailed case studies from beta customer testing to showcase the benefits and effectiveness of your solution to potential consumers and investors. Streamlining processes and workflows is important to work as efficiently as possible, and you should standardize and automate as you are preparing to scale. This helps to maintain consistency and quality while maximizing profitability during a rapidly changing business environment. Now let's look at the importance of impact measurement and reporting. As your business grows, your investors, customers, and regulators will demand more transparency. Climate techs are often mission-driven, so this helps you stay aligned with your core values and goals. Impact measurement also allows you to identify inefficiencies and optimize your resources, seeing where you need to prioritize or deprioritize. Use data analytics to monitor the performance of your products and the efficiency of your operations. This can guide decision making and highlight areas for improvement. Regularly report on the environmental impact of your solutions. This not only reinforces the value of your product but can also fulfill reporting requirements for certain investors. Ensure compliance with local, national, and international regulations, which can vary significantly by market. Staying ahead of regulatory changes can prevent costly adjustments later. Leverage government incentives and subsidies where available to make your offerings more competitive. Regulations are constantly changing, so it's important to stay up to date to mitigate compliance risks, as well as some of the regulatory mandates include renewable portfolio standards, RPS. So you need to be aware of this because these regulations require the increased production of energy from renewable sources such as wind, solar, hydro, and biomass. These standards are set by governments and are aimed at reducing carbon emissions and promoting the use of renewable energy. Compliance with RPS is mandatory for utility companies, which must produce a specified percentage of their electricity from renewable resources by a certain date or purchase renewable energy credits, also known as RECs, to meet their obligations. In New York, the target is 70% renewables by 2030 with 100% zero emissions requirement by 2040. Since the regulations include cost containment measures, they protect consumers from high energy costs. Next, it's the cap and trade systems or carbon taxes. Both approaches are designed to provide economic incentives for achieving reductions in the emissions of pollutants and are market-based mechanisms used to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Cap and trade systems can be economically efficient as they allow reductions to occur where they cost the least. Companies with low reduction costs will make reductions and sell allowances to companies facing higher reduction costs. On the other hand, carbon tax directly sets a price on carbon by defining a tax rate on greenhouse gas emissions or the carbon content of fossil fuels. Cap and trade offers more control over the total amount of emissions because it sets a cap called a hard limit, while carbon taxes offer more predictability in terms of cost per unit of emission. In New York, buildings bigger than 25,000 square feet are required to cut emissions this year. Otherwise, they will have to pay up to $268 per ton carbon that is over the limit. This could cost millions of dollars per year depending on the size of real estate. Next, energy efficiency standards. These are designed to reduce energy consumption, lower consumer costs, and decrease environmental impact in US. These standards apply to a variety of products, appliances, buildings, and are enforced at both the federal level and the state level. At the federal level, the Department of Energy, DOE, sets energy efficiency standards for numerous household and commercial products. Manufacturers must test their products according to DOE procedures and certify that their products meet these standards before they can be sold in the US. New York offers various programs through NYSERDA, which is the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, that provides incentives for energy efficiency upgrades in homes and businesses. These include rebates for energy efficient appliances, subsidies for insulation and heating system upgrades, and support for new energy efficient construction. New York has passed laws setting efficiency standards for several products not covered by federal standards, thus including certain types of lighting and commercial appliances. The New York Sun Initiative supports solar power installations in residential, commercial, and community settings, and this complements energy efficiency by reducing the overall demand for grid power. Lastly, we have emissions reporting, and in the US, these are critical components for environmental regulation aimed at monitoring and managing the output of pollutants from various sources to improve air quality and combat climate change. At the federal level, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, oversees emissions reporting. Some notable initiatives are Greenhouse Gas Reporting Program, Toxic Release Inventory, and National Emissions Inventory. As an example, facilities must report if they emit 25,000 metric tons or more of carbon dioxide equivalent per year, including how much of toxic chemicals are released to the environment or managed through recycling, energy recovery, and treatment. New York maintains a comprehensive inventory of statewide greenhouse gas emissions spanning all sectors. This inventory assists in the formulation of state-specific policies aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, state pollutant discharge elimination system requires the reporting of emissions to water bodies, regulating the discharge of pollutants to ensure compliance with the Clean Water Act. If you are looking for additional support on optimal business scaling while complying with climate-specific regulations, visit my website for expert consulting services that are tailored to help climate tech startups navigating regulatory requirements, optimizing operations, as well as to drive sustainable growth. Link is in the description. To recap, the key strategies for scaling a climate tech startup are building a scalable business model, accessing capital for growth, scaling operations efficiently, and measuring impact and adhering to regulations. Check out my other videos on fundraising, impactful case studies, AI, gender inclusion, and risk management. Get free resources by subscribing to my newsletter on LinkedIn. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up this video and subscribe if you found this helpful. And I will see you in my next video.